Along the croisette walks a man whose stride radiates the absolute confidence of a predator at the top of the food chain. His name is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Every film he touches brings studios hundreds of millions. His face dominates magazine covers. His iconic split has become the gold standard of action cinema. Producers are ready to do anything, just to get his signature on the next contract. But behind that flawless facade, a chasm is already cracking open. And he dug it himself. Most people still believe Van Damme disappeared because he got older, or because action movies went out of style. That's the illusion. The truth is far darker. He committed professional suicide, deliberately, publicly, convinced he was stronger than the industry itself. To understand how it all collapsed, you have to go back to the beginning, before the fame, before the legend. Back to a frightened boy named Van Varenberg. Brussels, mid-1970s. A skinny, pale teenager with thick glasses and a permanently anxious byad, a textbook target for bullies. His father, Eugene Van Varenberg, a florist, understood one thing. His son needed armor. At 10 years old, Jean-Claude was sent to karate classes. What started as self-defense turned into obsession. He wasn't just training, he was trying to peel off the skin of the weak child he once was. Karate became bodybuilding. Bodybuilding became 5 years of professional ballet. Yes, ballet. The very thing many mocked as unmanly gave him his superpower. While other fighters relied on brute force, Van Damme built something different. Feline grace, explosive control, and impossible flexibility. By 18, he was a European karate champion and the owner of his own gym in Brussels. Money, respect, stability. For most people, that would be enough. For him, it was nothing. That's when his defining trait revealed itself: insatiable hunger. He didn't want Belgium, he wanted the world. He looked at a poster of Arnold Schwarzenegger and knew his destiny was across the ocean. In 1982, ignoring everyone, he sold everything he had, bought a one-way ticket to Los Angeles, and left. No English, no connections, just a few $1,000s and a burning need to be seen. 1980s Los Angeles doesn't care about dreams. It devours them. His money disappeared fast. Reality hit harder. Van Damme slept in abandoned cars in dangerous neighborhoods. His mornings didn't start with training, but with washing up in public park bathrooms. He worked anything he could: limousine driver, carpet layer, pizza delivery. And then the ultimate irony. He became a bouncer at a nightclub owned by Chuck Norris. The future global superstar stood at the door, breaking up drunken fights. But in that chaos, he learned something far more powerful than fighting: self-promotion on the edge of insanity. No agent? Fine. He became his own. He stalked producers outside restaurants, waited near studio entrances, and when the moment came, he attacked. Not with fists, with spectacle. Right there on the sidewalk, in jeans and a tank top, he would drop into a perfect split between two parked cars, or unleash lightning-fast kicks inches from a shocked executive's face. They laughed at him, called him that crazy French guy. Security threw him out again and again. He always came back. He gets cast in Predator. This is it, his break. Except it isn't. They put him inside a bulky alien suit. No face, no identity, no chance to shine. He quits or gets fired, depending on who you ask. Hollywood door closed. But desperation creates legends. One day, Van Damme corners producer Menahem Golan in a restaurant. No speech, no introduction. He simply raises his leg and freezes in a perfect vertical split, right in front of the producer's face. Silence. Then, "All right, kid, I've got $1 million script, let's try." That script was Bloodsport. The movie was shot cheap, in rough locations, with almost no expectations. The first cut? Terrible. Producers called it garbage, planned to shelve it. Van Damme knew, if this film dies, so does his career. So he did something unheard of. He begged to re-edit the film himself. Night after night, he rebuilt it, focusing not on story, but on impact, the beauty of movement, the rhythm of strikes, slow motion power. He understood something the studios didn't. Audiences didn't want complexity. They wanted a new kind of hero, elegant, explosive, mesmerizing. 1988, limited release. No marketing, just word of mouth. Theaters filled. Bloodsport made over $30 million. The Crazy Outsider became a global phenomenon. After that, everything exploded. Kickboxer, Double Impact, Universal Soldier, hit after hit. His salary jumped from $25,000 to millions. But success came with a hidden mutation. The man who once slept in cars now surrounded himself with insane luxury. Villas, jets, exotic cars. He wasn't enjoying wealth, he was trying to fill a void. On set, he became difficult. He would stop million-dollar shoots over lighting on his biceps or because a co-star looked too good next to him. The same ego that built him started poisoning him. Pressure, competition. Actors like Steven Seagal were rising. He needed to stay on top. And in Hollywood at the time, there was a solution as common as coffee. It became his constant companion. As long as he made money, studios looked away. He mistook that silence for loyalty. 1994, he releases Timecop, his biggest hit, over $100 million. Universal offers him a deal. 3 films, $36 million total. For most, that's a dream. For Van Damme, an insult. Because at the same time, Jim Carrey lands $20 million for one film. Van Damme explodes. Why does a comedian get $20 million and I risk my life for less? He personally calls a top studio executive. His tone? Ultimatum. $20 million or he walks. He expects them to beg. Silence. We'll call you back. They never do. That moment, everything ends. He's blacklisted. Projects vanish. Roles go to others. Instead of stepping back, he spirals deeper. $10,000 a week on substances. Unreliable. Insurance companies label him high risk. Studios won't touch him. For years, the world saw only diva behavior. Then, in 1998, everything changes. Diagnosis? Bipolar disorder. Not an excuse, but an explanation. Mania, he felt invincible, like he could crush Hollywood. Depression, total collapse. What he was taking wasn't just indulgence, it was a desperate attempt to stay on top and avoid the abyss. He starts treatment, lithium. It stabilizes him, but it also takes something away, that wild, unpredictable fire that made him magnetic. While he fights himself, the industry moves on. New era, new heroes. The Matrix changes everything. Split-kicking action stars? Obsolete. Early 2000s. Exile. He shoots low-budget films in Eastern Europe and Asia, straight to DVD. From private jets to cold warehouses. From global icon to forgotten name. But exile changes him. He stops lying to himself. 2008. He releases JCVD. He plays himself. Broken. Aging, in debt, losing custody of his daughter. Then comes a 6-minute monologue, raw, emotional, real. Critics are stunned. No ego, no mask, just truth. A man admitting he's not a hero, just someone trying to earn back respect. 2013, a commercial. 2 moving trucks and 1 man standing between them in a perfect split. The Volvo truck's epic split becomes a global viral phenomenon. Millions watch because it's not just a stunt, it's a statement. He's still standing. Today, Van Damme lives in a fragile truce with himself. He reunited with Gladys Portugues, the woman he once hurt, but who chose to forgive him. His children, Christopher and Bianca, followed him into cinema. Now he tries to be the mentor he never had. His greatest victory? Waking up sober. I'm not a star, I'm a working actor. No ego, no performance, just truth. This isn't just a rise and fall story, it's a warning. He proved you can rise from nothing, sleep in cars, and become a global icon. But he also proved something far more terrifying. You can become your own worst enemy. The hardest fight of his life was never in the ring. It was in the mirror. And this time, he didn't lose.